you weren't here for the first presentation. Okay. I'm going to try also not to repeat myself terribly for everybody that was here before. I really appreciate you all coming this evening. My name is Michelle Maines. I'm the Director of Programs at Chassey's Place. Who is familiar with Chassey's Place? Okay, so we provide prevention education programming in youth sexual abuse and youth suicide. Those are our two programs that those are our two topics that we provide programming in, and we have been around since 2001, and I'll tell you a little bit more about all of that in a second. We opened our doors in 2001, and we serve about 7 central Indiana counties, and that is continually growing for us. So we started out really just in Hamilton County and just kind of have kept moving outward and outward. And with some of the new legislation that was passed, we are moving from serving 25,000 students on a yearly basis to serving 90,600. Because we are now not only serving kindergarten, 2nd, and 4th graders, but we are serving kids in grades kindergarten all the way through grades 12. One of the biggest takeaways here is I think sometimes as a society we forget that teenagers are children. Our society forgets that as well, right? They want to treat them like adults, and well, they want to be adults, right? They want to act like adults, they want to be adults, but they are still children. And abuse looks very different when you're 5 or 6 compared to when you're 16 or 17, but it's still abuse. And that's what we, as a society, needs to start remembering again, that we need to protect our teenagers. In reality, middle school and high schoolers are one of the most vulnerable populations for abuse. Actually, they're much more vulnerable than younger children because they have more autonomy, and they're in the world of maybe between an adult and being a child, and it's a perfect place for groomers to come in and groom. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But I wanted to highlight a couple of the programs that we provide. Teen Lure Prevention is what we're going to talk about today, and that is our body safety program for high schoolers and middle schoolers, so 7 through 12. That's the program that we provide. It is research and evidence-based as the state legislates. It has to be research and evidence-based programming, so it meets that criteria. And the Child Doors is for our younger children. That's a program for our younger children. Stewards of Children is a program that we provide for adults, and that is our sexual abuse prevention program for adults and how to protect those kids in your life. And it's a phenomenal program. The teachers here and staff here at Heritage went through it. It really teaches you things to do to empower children and to realize that there are things that you can do. There are boundaries that you can put in place that you just don't deviate from. We provide that program at Chassey's Place every quarter, I believe. So if you're interested in having the program, look it online, go to our website, and feel free to sign up for one of our prevention programs. We do that on a regular basis. Lifelines and QPR are our suicide prevention programs, which we are not providing any children here, but I'll just briefly talk about it. Lifelines is a 4-part comprehensive program where we come into a school and we look at their crisis plan and their administrative plan with regard to suicide. The prevention components that they have in place, intervention, and then the post-prevention components that they have in place. We look at that and make sure it is up to date and follows best practices with the research that is out there. Then we also do a teacher training, a parent training, and then there's a student curriculum. And the people within the schools or the youth serving organization, they're the ones that provide the curriculum. And it starts as young as 5th grade. 5th grade for suicide prevention. And I thought, wow, that's like 10 years old. But the largest growing population of people attempting and dying by suicide are girls ages 10 to 14. So we have to start talking about it earlier. We have to talk about it. We don't have a choice, right? QPR is our program for adults that we do. And we also do that at Chassey's Place on a regular basis. And that is a program that they liken to CPR. It's question, persuade, and refer. And it's basically anybody can take the first steps in saving a life from suicide. You don't have to be a medical professional or mental health professional. Anybody can provide. Anybody can learn to ask the question. Are you thinking of harming yourself? Persuade them to get help, and then know where to refer them to get that help they need. And that's what that program is. So those are our programs we provide. Chauncey grew up in Carmel. She appeared to be a great life. Her father was abusing her, sexually abusing her from the time she was 10 all the way till she was 18. She disclosed to her twin sister when she was 18, and then the whole process became for a trial. There was a hung jury. They were unable to come to a decision. And so they were getting ready for a second trial, and her father fled out and ended up serving no jail time. And the day after Christmas in 1995, she took her own life. If you are sexually abused, you are 7 times more likely to attempt or die by suicide. 7 times. That's how our mission came to be. The people who started Chauncey's Place were people that were involved in her case. It was not her family. Family was torn apart, right? But the people that were in the room, the people that were the lawyers, the first responders, the police that were involved in it, they wanted a place for children to come to that was trauma sensitive and that understood how to work with children through these traumatic events. Because the reliving of it and talking about it over and over and over again is extremely traumatic for children. Traumatic for adults, right? Let alone children. And so that's how Chauncey's Place came to be. And that's how we opened our doors. We used to be a place where they would come in for forensic interviews. And then about 8 years ago, I believe, we switched over to just prevention days. So we just provide prevention education because there's such a strong need for it. So that's a little bit about Chauncey's Place and how we talked a little bit about this already. This is the legislation that came through last year, 355. It said that every child, every year, grades K through 12, has to have bike safety. That's how important it is. It's helping with problems. We need to have an accommodation. It needs to be evidence-based, which is why we chose child wars and teen wars prevention. There's no extra funding for it. So we get a lot of our money through grants, and that's how we come into a lot of different places. This is Heritage Christian's private pay. We don't have money in Marion County, so but we get them all through our county specifics. So anyway, that's how we come and provide most of our education. We're about 80% grant-based. So here are some statistics that we touched on a little bit already. 1 in 10 children by the time they're 18 will be a victim of child sexual abuse. Children with a disability are 3 times more likely to be victims than those of their developmentally appropriate age peers. 60% of adults who were abuse victims as children never told. And over 90% of the time, a child is abused by somebody that you or they know and love and trust, which is awful, right? I mean, that's the worst of the world. We have to provide prevention education. Child Safety Matters is another organization that provides prevention education. It was another program we looked at, and we got the statistic from them that 95% of abuse is preventable from education. Right? Knowledge is power, right? Gotta provide, gotta give the children the knowledge. Okay. So now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how we provide the programming, what the program looks like. I'm going to start with the video. At the middle and high school levels, our conversation looks different than it does with younger children. They're going to be more susceptible to multiple different types of wars, right? And there's going to be some scenarios in here of strangers and different ways that kids are lured. This is an old video that I'm going to show you. This video is shown to children in grades 9 through 12. It is not shown to the middle school. 7 and 8th graders will do a question and answer with them about true or false, about some different scenarios to kind of get the presentation started. So this video is just being shown to high school, and then we'll talk about why in just a little bit. So it's an old video, but it's a good message, so it's not the best quality.
You know, as parents, we always tell our little kids not to get into a car with a stranger. But the fact of the matter is, most young people who are kidnapped by strangers are actually teenagers. And that got us to wondering, would college students actually recognize a dangerous predator? Well, consumer correspondent Susan Copen is here to tell us about an investigation that we did that every parent needs to see. And I think this is shocking what you found out. Susan, good morning.
Absolutely. Good morning, Hannah. We set up an experiment near 2 college campuses. We wanted to see if we could lure students off the street and into a van. What we found is an eye-opener.
Princeton University, home to some of the brightest young minds in America. But would these students be smart enough to spot a predator on the prowl?
You're a student here?
Yes.
Oh.
The man with the white hair is Ken Wooden, a child safety expert who's pretending to be a modeling agent looking for young faces to star in a commercial.
For sound purposes, get in there.
Okay.
Even though this college student is surrounded by 4 strange men, within seconds, Wooden gets her in our van.
Susan Copen from CBS News.
That's when I step in to tell her it's a setup.
I thought it was a little weird, but I was like, he gave me a card. There are people around, but
He made that on his computer.
yeah, doesn't look very professional.
But you were willing to get in the car anyway.
I know.
What if these were bad guys?
I would be dead right
What year?
And look at this student. He also gets right into our van when he hears he can be in a commercial.
These kids fell hook, line, and sinker.
Yes. Bait the hook well, and the fish will bite. That's what we did. We really put some bait on those hooks.
Ken Wooden has spent years interviewing criminals about the tactics they use to lure victims. We had him put some of the most common and deadly lures to the test.
You got a second? I'm in the sheriff's department.
This time, Wooden poses as a cop investigating a theft on campus. He lures students to his van to look at surveillance video. He's not wearing a uniform or driving a police car, but this boy gets right in. So does this one. This student walks over, but balks at getting inside, and same with this girl. But Wooden says she's still in danger.
She knew it was wrong to get in the van.
Yes.
But she still got over there with you.
And a little young lady like that, someone who's crazy enough with the adrenaline, she would have been a goner.
They could have pushed her right in.
Easy, easy. Could you throw those in my car for me?
But Wooden says the easiest lure is this one. The predator pretends to need assistance. In this case, Wooden wears a sling and asks for help loading boxes into his van. Student after student falls for the trap.
Just pushing back there.
now. He didn't appear threatening, so I didn't have a problem helping him.
That's what people said about serial killer Ted Bundy. He used this exact lure to snatch many of his victims.
These are college kids, and I think we assume that they know better.
Because they look out for a monster type person, not someone with a good story, not someone who has the art of deception down to perfection.
So would students who study criminals be more street smart? We left Princeton and went to John Jay College of Criminal Justice in New York City.
I'll give you $100 if you just sit in the car and give me directions.
This time, Wooden pretends to be lost. He offers students cash if they get in his van and help him drive downtown. If you're thinking, who would fall for that? Just watch what happens. Enticed by the money, these kids get in our van and drive off with a complete stranger. And it wasn't a fluke.
Just be my co-pilot.
This student also falls for the lure, hops in, and Wooden drives him away. When we stop them around the corner, the boy admits the offer of quick cash clouded his judgment.
You go to school for criminal justice.
And here I am getting in the cars of strangers.
You got in a car with a stranger.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
No, it's weird. Like, as I was getting in the car, I was like, wow, I never thought I'd be doing this.
Good.
Many students told us they were uneasy about getting in the van, but were ready to fight back if Wooden tried something.
Do they have a chance?
I don't think they do. What is a kid going to do who's caught by surprise, who's paralyzed by fear, and there's a knife at the throat? Good.
It would be easy to abduct any of these kids if they were tied up, and that's exactly what Wooden tries to do in this next lure.
I just know you would be good.
He tells this student if he gets in the van, he'll be part of a reality show. The catch? His hands need to be duct taped together.
Just a little bit. So that
Believe it or not, he lets us do it.
Good. Stay right there. You're golden.
If he was a bad guy, what do you think would happen to you?
I would have been in trouble. I can't get out of here.
Is that a death sentence, letting somebody do that to you?
Yes. My God, yes. It put a cold, cold chill down my spine because I know kids have been found dead with duct tape. He was a goner. A goner.
And almost every student who fell for our con told me they felt weird about the situation or they were scared to get in the van, but they did it anyway.
Just
Hannah.
seeing that kid having his hands
I
duct taped,
know.
it's so frightening.
It is.
How many kids actually walked away?
We did have kids who walked away, probably 1 in 4 walked away, but a majority of the kids either got in the van or got close to the van.
I mean, what can we tell our teenagers?
Whether it's a small kid who's 8 or an older kid who's 18, Ken Wooden says teach kids the lures so they know what the cons do to get them to the van or try to abduct them. And also tell kids to trust their gut. All these kids said they knew something was weird, but they didn't trust their gut.
Right, they had a bad feeling. Susan Copen, thanks.
Quite the big, isn't it? 3 out of 4 kids, 75%, from Princeton in a criminal justice school. These are smart kids. Here are some of our topics that we cover and why. Okay, we show the video to the older kids because we want them to know that you can be tricked. It can happen to smart kids, right? It can happen. A lot of times, just the nature of being a teenager, you don't think anything can happen to you, right? That's their nature. That's just the way they are. That's just the way they were made. And that's okay. But we have to give them the reality. Yes, things can happen. You can be manipulated. These people, I like when Wooden says they've mastered the art of deception. And they have. It's exactly what they've done. So you have to, first of all, start out by saying, hey, this can happen. Please listen. That's why we still show this to our work. Trust your gut. We have to teach them to trust their guts. Kids are raised today, and they want to be polite, and they want to be kind. You know, I don't care what society says about how they're, selfish and this and that. No, kids want to be kind, and they want to be respectful, and they, for the most part, that is the reality. And they feel awkward being rude to someone or feeling like they can say no to someone in a situation where they don't feel comfortable. But they can. We need to re-emphasize that to them. That they want them to feel empowered to be able to say or walk away from something when it doesn't feel right. Because they're not obviously doing that. Authority figures. One of the biggest things we see in today in the paper society with older children is authority figures taking advantage of that position of authority and having relationships with their authority, right? So we teach them that anybody in a position of authority, it is not okay for them to have a romantic relationship with you. You cannot have a healthy romantic relationship with someone in the position of authority. If someone in the position of authority would like to have a romantic relationship with you, that is the red flag. That's the red flag right there that should go off. Just the mere fact that they want to have a romantic relationship with you. That should be a warning. They will say things to you, like it's so fun to be able to talk to someone. It's very impressive. You seem so much older than you really are. Isn't it kind of fun that we're the only two that know about this? It's special to have a relationship. I'll get fired. You don't want me to get fired if someone finds out, do you? Nobody would understand. It happens all the time. It happens every day. So we want them to know from the get-go, it's not possible. It's not possible to have a healthy, romantic relationship with a person in the position of authority. And that right there is your red flag. Right away. Or anything else happens. Grooming. This goes along with it. Well, what I just talked about, right? All those things I just said. Groomers can start years before any physical activity takes place. And you are not just grooming the victim. These people are grooming entire communities, families. Jerry Sandusky, from Penn State football coach, I can't even think how many years ago that was now, but his adopted son came and spoke at one of our Chaucer's Place fundraisers, and he was an abuse victim of Jerry Sandusky. And he said that on Saturday mornings, when they go out of the tunnel on their football fields and they run out on the fields of the tunnels, people would line it, adults would line the tunnel and just try to reach out and touch Jerry Sandusky. He was untouchable. He was larger than life in that community. And he said, how can I say that this man who saved my life and adopted me was doing this? Nobody would have believed me. They were an entire community. USA Gymnastics. He burned an entire community. Over 250 young women. He's a prime example, all too real example, unfortunately, of how multiple people are groomed. And there are secondary victims in the situation. Other topics that we talk about healthy relationships, and we don't go into great detail about healthy relationships. We go into things like what a controlling relationship might look like, or what an abusive relationship might look like. You think that you don't want to point or shouldn't have to point these things out, but many children in today's society don't have examples of what a healthy relationship looks like. They don't have it. And we need to have reminders and let them know what something healthy looks like and what something healthy doesn't. And almost all the time you can talk to kids and they know friends in these relationships. Oh, I know so-and-so's. I mean, they'll tell you stories of the relationships that aren't healthy. We were at one, Anna, I don't know if any of you know Anna, but she actually presents this program for us at Chauncey's Place. And I forget where we were when the boy said, that's like my sister and her boyfriend. I mean, they just flat out said it. They know. Talk about dating abuse and violence. Again, they need to know in certain situations that it's not okay for someone to hit another person in a relationship. Or what abuse looks like. In 7th and 8th grade, they're on that cusp, right? They're kind of starting to get interested in the opposite sex and thinking about dating or whatnot, and then it just progresses, right? To high school, and they know more than we do. It's wild, but I mean, and they're doing things younger and younger and younger in society. They have to be prepped for this. We don't talk about this for a long time. We do touch on it. Personal boundaries and consent. We talk about how everybody has their own idea of what their boundaries are, and that they must be respected. You have every right to have your own set of personal boundaries and to live by them, and that's fine. As far as consent goes, the only thing that is spoken about consent is you must have permission to make any physical contact with a person every time. That's it. That's as far as that conversation goes. You must have permission. Talk about sexual harassment. It's interesting, a lot of times in today's society, kids don't even realize that they are being harassed or badgered because of our phones. Just text this and text that, shoot a quick text off here and there, and they don't realize, oh my gosh, I sent her 50 texts. Or I sent him 75 texts already, and it's badgering. So we teach them that the difference between harassment and flirting. Flirting is something that's going to be reciprocated. Someone's going to like the attention. They're going to enjoy that. Harassment is going to be met with resistance. They want to stop. They don't really like it. Anybody can harass. It is not just boys. And we teach them that as well. There is a big stigma in our society that boys are the only ones that can be harassers. I'm here to tell you. Middle school girls and high school girls, I have 3 boys. And my son was in 5th grade last year. 5th grade, mind you. And he gets a little girlfriend. Oh, Abby's my girlfriend. Oh, that's so cute, whatever, right? And I was like, all right, whatever. It's not like they were doing anything. They weren't even seeing each other, right? Well, then I started seeing text same stage she was, and he was correcting her grammar. And I'm like, that is not the way to keep a girlfriend. It's not going to happen for you. But, I mean, that's just not going to work out, I promise you. But, this girl was just, I love you so much, are we so in love, are we going to go to prom together? He was in the 5th grade. I was like, let's try to make it to Christmas break. But, I mean, it was just constant, and he didn't even know it was, like, happening. And what she was doing was benign in nature from her. It was not, she wasn't trying to be that way. But she had no boundaries in place, obviously, right? So I had to do a lot of work on my end. First of all, I read every single thing that I always do on my kids' stuff. Every single thing that comes around an eye touch. But girls can be very aggressive, and they don't really know it. The other thing is the guise of having an electronic in front of you, you don't have to see the person face to face. It gives you a lot of courage. A lot of courage to say or do things that you wouldn't normally say or do face to face. We talk a little bit about that. Okay, so here are some of the ways that people lure. Games. And we can talk about this in I'm talking about athletic events, right? People can get they can get into intense relationships, coaches, students, other players with each other. There was just a story in Texas where a kid on the field physically, he started choking another player on the field, right on the football field for some reason. So people can target you on the athletic field. That would be more obviously in a physical abusive situation. But you can also look at situations where people are in positions of authority in sports, or things like that, and that can be a scenario as well. You also see situations with athletic events where you can see parents cross the line and how they are treating their children. I saw a child, actually I didn't see it, I don't know if I said that. I was told a story of a child being pushed up against a fence by his father, publicly, because he missed a ball in the outfield. He was 7. And my statement to this person was, what did you do? I would have gone. I mean, I would have put myself right between that child and that man. I didn't know it. But I wasn't there, I didn't see it happen. But things get out of hand quickly in sporting events a lot. It's usually the parents' fault. I can feel that. Probably the parents. Online, another way to lure, that's huge. Predators are online now because that's where kids are. I just told this story earlier, but I was at a middle school and a child came down and said after our presentation, and he said, this happened to me this summer. This person reached out and said that they were a 12-year-old girl. And we started talking and texting back and forth and whatnot, and then we were going to meet. And somehow his sister got his phone and caught it and told his mother, thankfully. This person was not a 12-year-old girl. This person was an offender. And what was most upsetting to this child, first of all, it scared him that it had happened, but the rate that he was manipulated. That sense of manipulation was awful for him, dealing with it. So we talked about it a little bit. But online is dangerous. Affection more. Showing affection to somebody, that playing on someone's needs that they might have that aren't being met in the moment in some way in their life. The authority more. Someone being in a position of authority, you have to do what I say. Right? You're developing a relationship. The ego fame more. Hey, let me duct tape your hands together and you're going to be on reality TV. You saw it happen. It makes me sick to my stomach when I see that child do that. Easy as that. They played upon this child wanted to be in a reality TV show. Or hey, you're going to be a model. Give you a business card. Right? We talk to the kids and we say, if you're not 18, nobody legit would even be talking to you without an adult present. Because it's not worth their time. Because without an adult signature or parent involvement, you're not going to be on a TV show. Name, this gives a false sense of familiarity. And that's when someone learns your name, right? And they use it. Just the other night I was a parent, I was passing something out, I forget what it was, but I was passing it out and someone said, "Thank you, Michelle." And I was like I thought I should know them. Just because they use my name, what's my name tag, right? And that's why they use my name, but it gave me a false sense like, oh, I should know you. But I didn't. That happens with kids. And where are kids' names today? In our yards, on big banners on our houses. Hey, Zoe plays the flute for the band at Carmel, right? Or it's all over the place. On the back of our cars, on the back of their shirts. They're everywhere. I'm not criticizing. My son's name is on the back of my car right now, on a bumper sticker, because I didn't even think about this until I started working doing this job, right? But their names are out there, and people will find ways to find out their names. The assistance lure, which you pointed out is the easiest way to lure someone, is asking someone to help you. By nature, I don't care what you say about teenagers, they want to help you, they want to be kind, they will pick up a box to help you or do something, or someone insisting upon helping them. Let me get that door for you, let me carry these boxes for you, look, your hands are full. And they feel awkward, they don't want to be rude. You teach them it's okay, but no, I got it, it's okay, you know, I'm good, leave me alone. That can happen. The emergency lure, your house is on fire. Your mom sent me to get you, everything's okay, get in the car, let's go. You're totally thrown off your game, right? You don't know what you're thinking. You're thinking about your house being on fire. Is your mom okay? Was your dog okay? All these things play through your mind. Pet lore. It's another very, very common one. Everybody, nobody likes to think of their pet being lost. Nobody likes to think of their pet being hurt. No matter how old you are, right? With older kids, it's guys that say, hey, there's a free summer job at this vet clinic, you know, come and, you know, look into, see if you want to work here. Really, the person has made up a fake job posting and given it to this person because he's seen them all over this person's social media. They love animals, and they want to work with animals one day, and it's their goal to be with animals one day. Kids share so much of themselves on social media now. That's Ted Bundy. Not a bad guy, by the way. Not what you would think someone would look like. He used 4 lures. He was in an emergency, he was in a firefighter's outfit. So he gives the authority lure. And he had on he was a sergeant and something. And he drove up and saw a girl walking out, and her name was Becky, because it was on the back of her shirt. He said, hey, Becky, your house is on fire. Your mother sent me to help, the assistance lure. Get in the car, let's go. Becky was dead in 45 minutes. And he ended up, because of Becky's case, being executed on that. Serial killer. We don't talk about Ted Bundy with kids. Cyberbullying and bullying, we talk about that. That's a big problem today. Cyberbullying. So than regular bullying, because you've got the guys of not being able to see him. It's a crime in all 50 states. We talk to kids about cyberbullying being a crime in all 50 states. Problem is, it's hard to prove. It's hard to prove. Sexting. This is what we say to the kids about sexting. Most teenagers are not doing it. Don't fall for that. If someone says, come on, everybody's doing it, aren't you in 10th grade? Send me a picture or something like that. Most people are not sexting. And then it's a bad idea. If you don't want something, you need to think of your social media as a book. It's going to go on your coffee table at your house. Or pictures that your grandmother's going to put up in her house. If there are pictures that you don't want in a coffee table book, or at your grandma, or up on the wall, you shouldn't be posting. You shouldn't be posting. Online safety. That could be its whole presentation for years and years and years. But we talk about how essential it is to be careful online. I will tell you that this is a part of the presentation usually that the children teach us stuff. They will tell us stuff that we didn't even know about. that we go back and look into and we learn from them. Almost every person I talk to, or we go in and present to, the kids will ask if they've ever been either propositioned online, sent anything inappropriate online, been bullied online, they'll raise their hand. Almost every single one of them raises their hand. So they have to be careful online. They always say, well, I just deleted that picture. I just told them that, they have some whatever comeback, right? That they think that they were tough or whatever on. We want you to talk to an adult. We want you to tell a parent, please don't delete an image. Let mom or dad or your trusted adult do that. If someone is bullying or saying rude things, don't engage. Tell a trusted adult. Throughout the whole presentation, we go back to the concept of safe people in their lives. We want them to develop relationships with trusted adults in their lives that know how to help them and that want to help them. We say that they have a better idea of how to help you in these situations, things that you shouldn't have to be feeling. I promise your parents aren't going to die if they hear this. If that's what kids are scared of, I don't know, die if she hears this, right? They say things like that. They'll never be able to handle that. It's too much of them. No, parents are made to handle these things so that you don't have to, right? Keep promoting that concept of having a trusting relationship, and the more you trust your parents and involve them and let them into your cyber world or whatever, into what's going on in your life, the more they will trust you in return. Promote that concept of really, really building up those safe people in their lives. We also talk about trafficking. Trafficking is a horrid problem, and it's a terrible, big, huge problem right here, not in a third world country somewhere. I saw a statistic, I saw something online about the number of people, teens, who had gone missing in the state of Iowa in the month of July. 27 of them. And in 31 days, right? And they showed a map of where they had gone missing from, right along the interstate. All over. And here we are in Indianapolis, the crossroads of America, where all the highways intersect right through here, right? It's a problem. They need to know about it. We talk about that, and we talk about, again, all of these topics are no more than about 5 minutes because we don't have that long to do the presentation. These are just the tip of the iceberg. Okay, but we do talk about trafficking and where it can happen, who is more susceptible to it, and how to ask for help if you're concerned about it. People that are going to come in and do this training, okay? The way it's going to be at Heritage Christian there's going to be a junior high presentation that's going to be live streamed. So they'll be in their own classroom. It's a certain class, I'm not sure which one, but they'll be in their classroom where someone is watching them and see how they respond, and they're available while the presentation is happening here, but it's going to be on the TV. So that you're not in a huge group of kids hearing some of the sensitive content. And it'll be the same way at the high school level. And there'll be a high school presentation done the exact same way. What we see most of the time are kids who are triggered, who have had some experience in one of these areas, and they are upset, they need to talk to someone. And there will be people available that day, both from Jossie's place and along with someone from the school, if someone wants to talk. Very, very few reports of any type of report needing to be DCS are made at this level. It's mostly people that go home, have conversations with their parents about it, or kids who have had personal experience and have been triggered. Other kids have been in there with personal experiences and do fine. It depends on the child. It depends on the child, obviously, and parents know their children best. But, so there'll be people available to talk to them afterwards if need be. They are fingerprinted, they are background checks, they're retired teachers. Anna that doesn't, actually she's one of the 3 that doesn't, so, but she won't be here. Save her daughter from embarrassment. She will not be in the presentation. But so we have another presenter coming in who's teaching English as well, and drama, and she'll be presenting. here, and they are social workers, nurses, all different people that just have a passion and they care about kids. They have a lot of opportunities for professional development to learn more about the content. Just a couple weeks ago, someone from the Indiana State Police came in and talked about cyber crimes and all that kind of stuff. So they get a lot of time to really hone in and develop so that they can be truly quality experts on the topic. So this book will come home after the presentation or maybe before. I don't know if there's any.
Kirsten, you've got some tonight, right?
Okay, so there's some here available tonight if you'd like to see one. In order to do our contract with Teen Loris Prevention, they said that we need to either have student workbooks or parent workbooks, parent packets. We opted to go with parent packets because you guys are the first line of defense. You're the ones that are going to keep the conversation going. We're just touching the tip of the iceberg, like I said. The conversations are going to develop and evolve with you. So we wanted you to have as much information as you could to be able to facilitate the conversation and keep it going. It's a really comprehensive book. It has all kinds of phone numbers, what to do with disclosures, cyber hotlines. There's all kinds of stuff in this book that you hopefully will find beneficial. It talks about all the different lures and how to prevent that con. So that's the way it goes, is preventing the con and ways to teach your children. The biggest thing is teach your children what people they do. Right? So the kind of a red flag goes up right away, like this seems weird. So we want to, that's what we want to promote, that concept. We want the conversation to continue with all of you. I don't know if anybody saw this on the ESPYs, but the 2018 Arthur Ashe Courage Award for the women and sister survivors. These are only some of Larry Nassar's USA Gymnastics victims. And when it happened, Jennifer Gardner, she was emceeing, and she announced the winner, or the award recipients, and they all started flooding the stage, and they just kept coming, and kept coming, and kept coming. And it was, I mean, it gave me chills. It was unbelievable. It was so awesome, right? And after I said, all we need was one adult to have the integrity to stand between us and Larry Nassar. If just one adult that listened, believed, and acted, and people standing before you on this stage who have never met him. It's our job to protect our children from 0 to 18. We have to be willing to have the conversation